All right, go for it.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's 2 p.m. You know what time it is. It's time for the trading Terrordome with none other than the AlgoCapitalist himself, Dex. What's
What
going
up?
on,
What
buddy?
up? What up, peoples? What it look like?
I'm chilling, man. I'm watching the Apple keynote here, while we're on live, and I'm watching this guy who's coming out and saying that the iPhone 8 is revolutionary, and it's a revolutionary new design, and it looks exactly like my iPhone 7. So I'm wondering where this revolutionary design is coming from, and there are, and people are clapping at this drivel. It's amazing. It's
Mm,
amazing. I thought they were going to take away the home button and give you a dongle and say that it took them courage. If you want to use
wow.
the home button, you got to buy a dongle for it. And then they say we took away the home button because of courage.
Well, obviously the people aren't too excited about it. The stock's only up $1.28.
No, exactly. It's been tepid already. Everybody's waiting for this iPhone X, which they're going to be unveiling today as well, which is supposedly all glass, like the kind of like the Samsung Galaxy S8, the LG V30s, the Galaxy Note 8s. So this iPhone X is supposed to be predominantly screen with very little bezels, and it's supposed to be over $1,000. Let's see where this goes. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Let's see. Their stock is still going to be something to watch. If they don't bring it this year, man, this is their swan song. If they don't bring it this year, you're going to see some major problems happening. And for you to have the audacity to sell $1,000 phone that does the same thing as everything else that you've done, especially in the light of fiercer competition, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
So you can buy a laptop or you can buy a phone.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, I have a 7 Plus in jet black, 256 gig, and I have the brand new Samsung Galaxy Note 8, which I picked up last week before anybody else did. Before it was even sold in the country, I got it. And the Note 8, it is a monster phone. My God, octa-core processor, 6 gigs of RAM. It is ridiculous. It's a beast.
Who's
So
buying these phones besides you, me, and CJ?
nobody else. It's I don't know, man. Let's see how this. Well, now you could you could lease your phones now because the carriers allow you to lease your phones. That's how people are affording them. You can pay $20 a month for a phone.
Stop
That's how
playing.
they're
You said
doing it.
you can lease your phone now?
Yeah. That's how everybody's doing it. Nobody has like these typical. Where have you been when cell phone companies were rolling this out like 5 years ago?
Not paying attention?
Yeah, man. You lease your phone. You don't buy your phones outright anymore. I'm one of the guys who always buys their phone outright because I'm always swapping phones because I'm a phone whore. But now you could you could lease your phones instead of what are the let's say the $1,000 phone, they'll stretch that price of $1,000 over 2 years, and then once you're halfway into paying the phone, you could flip to a new phone, just pay off your old balance.
So you
So
lease phones like you lease cars.
that's it. Welcome to
Mm,
the new America. You got to milk the consumer somehow.
wow. What people will pay for these days. Forget a phone, man. Get yourself a PlayStation 4 Pro. That's what you need to do.
You can buy yourself for the price of one iPhone X. You can get yourself a Pro 4 and the upcoming Xbox One X with some money left over for some games. You really could, and it could double up as a TV service. I don't know if you've seen PlayStation's View service, which for anything is about $30 a month. You get a ton of cable channels. I just got I just signed up for Sling TV. I'm paying $35 a month.
Mhm.
I get all my cable channels that I want to watch. I got to deal with big cable. I can fast forward through things. I have my own DVR. They give you like 50 gig DVR on the cloud. It's
Wow.
awesome. Like, what more do you want? Cable companies are done. They're finished.
Well, especially with Netflix eating all their lunch with these
Oh my
incredible
God.
shows.
Speaking of
Like,
Netflix, I just started watching Death Note on Netflix, man. That looks pretty awesome. I just saw like the first 15 minutes
uh-huh.
for lack of time, and I think I'm gonna, watch it. It's based on that Japanese manga or that Japanese comic book, so that's
Yeah,
gonna be pretty cool.
they got some hot stuff like
They got some
Ozark and
great
all that,
stuff.
man. Goodness. And
They really do.
Blacklist is over the top, man. I can't
You know what?
get
Everybody's
over
been
that.
telling me to watch Blacklist. I'm gonna have to.
Man, oh my
Have to
goodness,
watch
that show was dope. It's deep.
it. Yeah, I heard it is.
Um, it's good because when you watch good shows, It helps, for you to deprogram yourself from the hustle and bustle of the week. And that's how I keep my mind straight. I watch good shows. I watch some hilarious stuff on YouTube, and I play video games.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it helps me to get the mind right, because you have to at the end of the day. You got to wind down.
You got to wind down, and that's why I got my Alienware on my desk at all times, wired to a 29-inch gaming monitor. You got to
There you
wind
go.
down, because
You gotta have.
doing this economy stuff day in day out, dude, it's mind numbing.
And then this Friday, I'm gonna be in heaven.
What's going on Friday?
NBA Live 18 and
Oh, that's right.
NBA 2K18. If you pre-ordered, you get to play the full game. Download the joint
Did you
on
join
Friday.
Best Guy's Gaming Club?
Nope, don't need to.
Dude, are you kidding me? You have to. It's $30 for 2 years. You get 20% off on every purchase.
Dude, I am already a full-fledged member of the PlayStation discount club. So I get free games, I get demos. I'm even registered with different gaming companies, so they send me stuff. Oh yeah, I'm already hooked up.
Interesting.
I'm a game head. I can't help it. And
Hey,
especially handheld devices. I'm telling you, that GPD is sweet. You can only get it in China. You got to go online and order the joint, but you can play all the Android games. Just like it looks like a Nintendo DS.
Oh, okay.
But it plays all the Android games. So I'm up here playing NBA Live mobile version. I'm playing all these incredible games coming out of China and Japan. Man, it's over the top. I can't even explain to you how dope it is. So, right, I have all the GPD games. I have the GPD Win. I got the GPD whatever this thing is, the XD. I got them all.
Nice.
That's how I roll, man.
I hear you, man.
Well, I'll tell you what's not a game, though. I'll tell you what's not a game. I'm segueing.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's not a game is the fear mongering about all these hurricanes. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Go ahead, break it down, brother.
All right, so I talked about it in one of my last 2 videos. Just how they pumped up Irma, and to this date, no one's taking responsibility. No one's being called on their nonsense. But the different media, mainstream media outlets, I saw footage. I saw them saying it was a Category 6. I heard people say it was the storm of the century, power storm in 100 years. Catastrophic loss of life is expected. Blah blah blah. By the time it hit landfall, it was no worse than just a severe thunderstorm with a lot of rain. So pumping it, making people afraid, had people fleeing out of the city, breaking their necks to get out of town, and for nothing. Yeah, there's some severe flooding. Yeah, I'll give you that. There's some downed trees and power lines. Okay, I'll give you that. But we get that with thunderstorms. So why all the fear mongering? And if you notice it, everything on TV was all about that Irma. They didn't talk about nothing else but Irma. They wanted you focused and scared to death over Irma. Now, I can tell you straight up that living here in the DMV, it's a weird place. It's a submeridian climate, but it's weird because depending on where you are in the DMV, you get certain types of weather. So, for instance, if you live, north of 95, then you're going to get the worst of the weather. If you're south of 95, you can get some bad weather too, but it depends on where you are within the Blue Ridge Mountains and what side of the mountain range you are on. If you're on the right side of the mountain range, which is where I'm at, guess what? The mountains protect me. So I don't care what kind of hurricane comes or whatever, it's parks and stalls at the mountain and keeps on moving. So we got the mountain range to help us over here. So whatever comes, it's not going to do jack to us. However, when we get bad rains or thunderstorms, all it takes is for it to rain with no lightning, no thunder, and sometimes power can go out. And don't let water droplets fall out of the sky. If there's any precipitation whatsoever, trees just buckle and fall. and limbs do too. It's like the trees out here are made of chocolate, and they just buckle at the sign of any kind of inclement weather. And some roads are impassable. It's just ridiculous. So I'm glad that we are where we are, because if a hurricane came here, there would be no DC. It would be gone. And because DC is built on a swamp anyway, oh my goodness, it'll be ridiculous.
That'd be great. They should just bring that hurricane, a powerful hurricane, a Category 5, with excess of 200 miles an hour winds, should hit Washington, D.C. dead on, especially the Capitol Dome, while all the senators are in session. That'd be great. But that's just a fantasy.
If that happened, it would be catastrophic. No, seriously, it would be catastrophic.
Wait, you live near D.C. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that.
No, seriously, it would be catastrophic because, there, like I said, the D.C. area is weird. You got flood zones in the D.C. area, dude.
Right.
Severe flood zones.
Yeah,
going back to the mid '90s.
It's like at sea level.
No, I mean, yeah, it's worse than that. There was a catastrophic flooding back in the '90s. It was catastrophic, right at the base of the mountain out here in Virginia, and it was up there with like Katrina. It was catastrophic. It caused a terrible mudslide and everything else. I mean, you're talking homes floating down Riverside. It was just ridiculous. That's how hard the rain was, and it's never happened since then. And it was the first time that ever happened. So things can happen, just like we got an earthquake here not many years ago, which we've never had an earthquake. I remember, and the funny thing is that because of this, the way this place is, and how it's, how the Potomac River, how things are surrounding the Potomac River, it's off the hook, man. So it just depends on where you are. If you're south and you're by the Rappahannock, or you're north and you're by the Potomac, it just depends on where you are. But it could be terrible. And now they're talking about a storm coming up the East Coast. Please, whatever. I hardly call 80-mile-per-hour winds a storm. Now you start talking about like what they had with Katrina and Hugo and Andrew, then yeah, now you got my attention, because when those storms hit landfall, they hit landfall at a Category 5. They hit landfall for 185 plus mile per hour sustained winds. That's catastrophic. We didn't get that here. And here's the funny thing: when it hit land, especially down in Tampa just a few days ago, it hit with 80-mile-per-hour winds. And then we hear FEMA talking about they're going to be down there for years to come. Nah, you know what that is? Red flag should go off for everybody. That's letting you know that they use this storm as an opportunity to set up shop. And that means that the FEMA camps and things of that nature has just gone live. They're preparing for something massive.
Yeah.
No other time would they even come out and announce something like that unless it was a full-scale operation underway. And I can tell you straight up, it is a full-scale operation underway, and it has nothing to do with this storm. And that's why they announced it, so that when you see the FEMA vehicles or any other military-type vehicles, you'll just say, oh, that's because of the storm. They're cleaning up storm. Ain't nothing to clean up. The waters are gonna dissipate on their own. They're gonna dissipate. They're gonna go back down. The river levels are gonna drop, and things are gonna go back to normal. The places that got flooded were flood zone areas anyway. It's not like New York City is underwater. It's not like LA is underwater. All right, these are flood zones that got flooded when a hurricane came in, and they're making it out to be something that it's not. All right, it could have been anything. It could have been a Category 1 storm, or typhoon, or whatever. You're in a flood zone. If you're in a flood zone, guess what? You're going to get flooded. But yet people still want to live there. So you're living in you chose to live in a flood zone. You did that by choice. All right, no one rounded you up, handcuffed you, and said, here's where we're dropping you off, and you're going to stay here. If you try to leave, you will be shot. No, it's a choice to live on those coastal area flood zones. And it's just how it is. So when these storms come, is anybody really, like, ooh, ah? No. You live in a flood zone. You feel me? That's all I'm saying. So just like people who choose to live in an active earthquake zone. You chose to live where there are 300 to 400 earthquakes a year. So let me guess. So when an earthquake happens, we're supposed to feel like super sorry for you and say, "Oh, that's so terrible." You chose to live on an earthquake zone. You know, it's a risk when you live there. It's a risk that you took. That's all I'm saying. But we live in an age where the government is afraid of its own shadow, so they have to keep something fearful in the media at all times, something for you to fear. If it's not people, then it's places. If it's not places, then it's things. People, places, and things. That's what they have you fearing. So if they can't talk about Osama bin Laden anymore, so guess who the new Osama is? Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un. And when that attention dies down, he's not setting off firecrackers and M80s and cherry bombs. They say, okay, oh, here's a hurricane. Let's talk about the hurricane. As a matter of fact, you know what? This hurricane is only a category 1, 2 at best. Let's fly some planes down and seed the thing and make it stronger. We need this. We need this diversion. And that's what they do. Duh. When's the last time you heard of a hurricane hitting land, backing off, going back out in the ocean, turning around and coming back again? Well, that's what they claim Irma did. Come on, man. That's all I'm saying. You know, just the way they do things is
Harvey, man. Harvey did, not Irma.
It's just off the. Well, thank you. Still, Harvey, Irma, who cares? When have you heard of a hurricane doing that? So let me get. Oh, my fault. The hurricane, just like the toaster and the microwave at Subway, has become self-aware. So now we have artificial intelligence hurricanes. Now the hurricane is aware, it's self-aware, and it decided, I don't want to go and stay on land for a while. I want to go back out to the water. And then when it went out to the water, it said, you know what? I left something behind on land. Let me go back to land. Whatever. And they expect us to believe this. I mean, seriously. Oh, another thing too. When I was watching all this footage about the hurricane stuff, you guys, I noticed something, man. I said this a long time ago. I didn't drop names. I ain't gonna do it now, but I just wanted to throw this out here. Have you noticed that some of the so-called alternative media has gone rogue and joined the dark side? I heard some of them trying to debunk known conspiracy facts as conspiracy theories. And the first thing they started talking about was weather modification, geoengineering, and global warming. And so when push came to shove, they revealed their stripes, who they really are, and people still listen to them and follow them and thinking that they speak truth and knowledge, and they do not. So all I'm saying is, folks, you need to be wary of who you following and listening to. It's a lot of snake oil people on this YouTube and on this internet. And I watched them come out. They came out in the woodworks. They start using this storm to push stuff on you. Come here, find out the secret truth about this hurricane. You need to buy my special minted gold and silver coins. Oh, you need to get my special MREs. Oh, you need to buy this. Oh, you need to buy that. And only I have it. It's sad, man, that we take advantage of each other like that. You know, and then crude oil prices still suppressed, but yet gasoline prices were going through the roof. They actually allowed the Exxon and Shell companies to price gouge the people. I saw gas prices at $7 and $8 a gallon down there. Come on, dude. And then they ran out of gas. People were paying that.
Yep.
Then some of the airlines jacked up their prices.
Yep.
I thought there were laws against doing such a thing. Yes, I thought there were laws against price gouging. So how are they able to get away with it? And then to top it all off, this right here just really just made me fall out of my chair, folks. I mean, I fell out of my chair. Equifax gets hacked.
Oh, yeah.
I warned you guys. I said hack is back in play above 30. You know it's on and popping. Boom. That story comes out. Boom. Hack is over $30 again. Guess what else? We find out that the three heads of the company dumped their shares of stock ahead of the announcement of the hack. Now, I thought that there were laws against insider trading. Okay, if you dump shares that you own and you make a profit, that's still insider trading and it's still fraudulent. So they cared more about their own bottom line than they cared about the safety of the people that they are here to service. And I haven't seen nobody get marched before a grand jury or handcuffed or arrested or none of that. Where's the SEC? If you or I did that, they would have been locked us up and paraded us in front of the cameras and everything. These dudes are still walking around. They sold their shares of stock before this story hit the fan. How is that happening? But yet the SEC decided to shut down a Bitcoin stock, BITCF, ticker symbol, folks. They decided to shut them down because they said their stock was up 6,000%. If you look at the charts, it was not up 6,000%. And even if it was, there was no crime involved. Since when is it a crime for stocks to go up? I thought they designed their algorithms to keep the markets afloat, to always float up. So they can price fix, but a stock can't go up naturally because people are interested in it. And so you suspend them for 10 days, but you let these three CEOs, these top people at Equifax, go free. They get to short their stocks knowing that the hack had taken place, and they hurry up and dump the stock before it hits the wires, before people can come out and dump their shares. That's terrible. And yet they're able to get away with it. The SEC is fine with that. Please. See what I'm saying, people? That's what I am saying. You got to look after yourself, because the government is not here to protect you. The government is not your friend, and it doesn't care about you. All right? It lets the elites of the world get away with murder. All right? That's what they let them do. They let them do whatever they want. But see, here's the truth of the matter, though, folks. The stock was going to get hit anyway. That's what they're not telling you. Equifax was going to get hit anyway. And so what this did was, with this breach, all it did was just create a perfect situation for them to, to go ahead and dump the shares and allow the hack to take place. And that's another thing too. All right, I can talk about this a little bit because of my brief stint in the real estate game. All right, so you have a situation with Equifax, and I can tell you, I know for a fact, they have some of the most sophisticated technology in-house. All right, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. All right, the unholy trinity of your credit report. They have all of that locked down. They have no congressional oversight, no nothing. Those three companies operate under complete autonomy, just like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac did. They have so many internal checks and balances, though, that they're almost impenetrable. This hack had to have some type of inside help. All right, I can tell you that. Even being an end user of their services, when we would run the tri, it's a tri report that only mortgage companies can do. Regular people can't pull it. The tri-merge report. There you go, tri-merge. All right, when we pull a tri-merge report, because only banks and mortgage companies could pull this kind of report, it pulled for all three credit bureaus. And it was a complete in-depth analysis of each person's credit. And on this report, you'd be surprised, for those of you who don't know, felonies are on your credit report. So is child support, things like that. And of course, all types of liens, garnishments, and things of that nature. Even if you are a bank or if you are a mortgage company or some type of financial institution, the checks and balances that you have to go through to be able to pull those reports is also off the chain. The technology is off the chain. And one wrong key or whatever can lock you out. You can't even get the stuff that you need. All right. And it costs money to pull those reports. Back in the day, it was $30 to pull one of those reports. Okay. Either you paid it or the customer had to pay it, but someone had to pay it. So all these checks and balances. And then they had this, under this extreme secrecy, their algorithms that they use to determine your credit score, what your FICO score is, what your middle score is, and all of that stuff. And it's so convoluted that even the people that work there don't necessarily understand it. All right. And there's all these layers of secrecy and things of that nature inside of the company. All right. And because of that, they were allowed to, to do whatever they wanted to do. They didn't have to go through congressional oversight or any of that stuff. Some people got smart, and especially those who worked at a law firm, they got smart and they figured out one of their algorithms through some kind of insider, some kind of inside thing, told them that if you fight or argue your credit a certain way, then you can trick the algorithm, and all you need is to present things in a certain way. That went on for a while. It helped people fix their credit, whatever, get things off of it. But then the credit reports, they backstopped that, and they realized, okay, this is what we need to do now. We're going to change the algorithm so that if a person disputes a line of their credit, it's going to come back, and we're going to say, nope, we looked into it. It's correct, and it is what it is. And then you had no recourse after that. Of course, things have changed again.
Of course, you're with my boys over at Remain Calm, baby.
Yeah, see, things have changed a little bit. But my point is, they were known on the street back in the day for having some of the most sophisticated internal algorithms and things of how they do things, and operating on a top secrecy, that they were impenetrable. So the fact that we hear now this massive data breach of over 140 some million people,
50% of the country.
Dude, nah, that right there is on purpose. That's impossible. That's like saying you're able to hack into Xfinity Comcast's cable feed.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, because it's a closed unit. Back in the day, you could easily pilfer someone's cable because the boxes had these things that they put in, these crystal things, whatever. But nowadays, it's all digitized and it's a closed unit, so you can't just, steal someone's cable like that, like you can with a router. You can hack into someone's router, and now you're on their internet. No, this is totally different. It's a closed-in system. Same thing with the Equifax. The way they had things designed in-house was a closed-in system. So all I'm saying is, for this to have taken place, it has to be an inside job, period.
Yeah.
It's not like the FBI and other government agencies where you can hack into them. It's not like that. Their thing is totally different. It's off the grid. So something is definitely afoul with this here. And I'm curious to see what kind of thing are they going to roll out as a result of this. Get it? Problem, action, solution. Ooh, data breach. Well, we have a solution. If you allow, you sign something off saying you agree to this new thing, then this will protect and make it so that it never happens again. I'm thinking they allowed this to happen on purpose because they have something that they would like to roll out, and the only way to do it is to get the people's approval.
Yeah.
And that's why their stock is suffering today. And I think it's going to continue to. But if you want to know,
what's funny is that in response to this, Experian, the other major credit bureau, said, hey, if you pay us X amount of money per month, I don't know if it's like 30 or 40 bucks per month,
right?
We will have our special service that goes out and searches the dark web to see if your name is out there. Okay, and then when it's out there, what are you going to do? They have no way of protecting. This is what people need to understand. Every single person listening to this broadcast, settle it in your heart. Your privacy is already gone. Okay, number one. Number two, do not kid yourself into thinking that your social security number is exclusively yours. It's not. It's used by other people. It's used by financial institutions. It's used by it's used in the creation of various derivatives that are traded on the market. It's used in so many ways. That's why when you go car shop and you apply for a loan, they're always asking for what? Your name, your date of birth, your social security number, and maybe even a driver's license to do what? To triangulate who you are. That's why they can never pull your information up with just a social security number on its own. So that's what I need people to be aware of. The fact of the matter is, in these big bloated bureaucracies like Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, the fact they had a data breach, it was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time. Is it an inside job? Possibly, because they were selling their stocks way before they even announced this whole entire thing. So it's possibly an inside job. It's possible that the hack, from what I heard, happened a month ago, and they announced it on Thursday. So these are things that need to be discussed and looked into. But in terms of your data, it's gone already. Settle it in your heart. It's already gone, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're just gonna have to get diligent about your credit, and you're gonna be getting into fighting to have it cleaned up and have it rectified. And I've known people who were ruined financially because their identities were stolen. So it's a crazy time we're living in, man.
Yeah, it is. And the funny thing, their stock had been on a decline since it hit a high of $147.02 back on July the 26th of this year. Then all of a sudden, the stock gapped down the next trading day. It closed on July the 26th at $146.21. And then on the next trading session, it opens up at $142.57. So you had a huge gap down, then it comes and fills the gap and then falls and never looks back. And then here we go with this data breach story. But as of September the 7th, it closed at 142.72. And then when it reopened the next day, it opens at 121. Yeah. Now, think about that. You got a $20 crash on the open. It gaps down $20. Somebody knew something on that day. They dumped their shares on that day. And when the market reopened, it opened down to that level. They knew that was going to happen. That's why they got out of it.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that we could be witnessing a move to potentially dump credit and FICO scores and moving more to a social score based upon our all of our debt?
Hey, remember Ford Credit? About a month ago announced that they're going to dump credit scores completely. They're not going to even look at your credit score. They're going to look into other factors, and they just said other factors and social scores and all this other stuff were mentioned because credit scores are so archaic. It doesn't reflect on what's really going on. It's they're going to probably get rid of it. Yeah, it's going to be some sort of taking all your social media, all this other crap, and then rating you accordingly to that. I've heard about this crap going back to 2012.
Well, remember, in 1990, there was no credit scores. Credit scores is something new. It's not something old. It's only existed since the late 90s. In 1990, there was no FICO score.
Well, the FICO score, no, but there was another monitoring of your credit worthiness back then.
But there were no credit scores.
No, there were no credit scores as we know them today. From like your 800 is like the perfect credit. Your 850 is like anything 700 above is great. This, that, and the other.
Didn't exist.
Didn't have any of that.
Nope. So you should think of that. So I was just telling someone this the other day. Again, for those of you who want more information about this, you need to check out There Is No Collapse, my documentary here on YouTube. I go into this a lot further. But the reason why they're doing it, they're thinking about doing away with the credit scores and bringing in a universal income and all this stuff is because, think about it. When you roll out the new technology, you don't need that. When the government finally has put together its own blockchain, it doesn't need a FICO score. That don't tell them nothing. Their blockchain that they're putting together, their super web that they're putting together, is going to be able to track every citizen on the face of the planet in real time with video and audio. And so they don't need that. And the way that they're going to sell it, people are going to be clamoring for it. It's going to be to the point where you can't even run for political office unless you are backing this thing, because people are going to want to be safe, and they're going to want to be a part of this, and they're going to sell it to the point where if you're part of this new system, then you're going to be better off. If you're not part of it, then you're going to get left behind. And then as things go on and as they roll it out, they'll make it to the point where you won't have a choice but to belong to it. And that's what they're going to have. Because think about it. Look at their selling points. They'll say, imagine living in a community that is virtually crime-free. Think about it. Crime-free. They'll be like, you can't promise a crime-free society. Yes, you can. Think about it. This new technology using the blockchain is going to give them the God qualities that the governments of the face of the earth have been clamoring for centuries. They'll be able to track everyone's movement in real time and with visual and audio. So think about it. Oh, a crime happens. There was a murder. There's a body on the street. We can find out exactly who, what, where, why, and when and how just by looking at the technology. You can see whose chips were where at what time. You can see the person that was there, who that person is. There's no such thing as a John Doe or a Jane Doe anymore. You'll be able to have the visuals on that and even audio. You'll know who was there. You'll know where to go. And I mean, it's just going to be amazing. And just think about it. Europe was the pilot for all of this. They have thousands of cameras over there, the most monitored place on the face of the earth. But that's just the beginning, because when this new thing rolls out, it's going to be off the chain. And you're going to see that it's going to look good at first, but as it goes on, people are going to realize, oh no, what have we done? You've given away all of your freedom, all of your liberty, and you no longer have any. Because when you are not on the system, you can't eat. See, right now, when we have fiat, I can say, yo, CJ, yo, Vince, man, I'm hungry, but I left my wallet at home. Can you spare me a couple of dollars so I can go to Subway and have the artificial intelligence microwave fry my bacon on my sandwich for me? And you can say, yeah, I'll give you a few dollars. But under the new system, you won't be able to do that because it's non-transferable person to person. See, right now we can do that with blockchain, right? You can put money in my wallet. I can put money in your wallet. You know what I'm saying? But with the new system, and you're forced to use their blockchain and their technology, you won't be able to do that. So if my chip is turned off, I can't access anything. I can't go to the store and buy anything. And no one can give me anything either. Because the only way to transfer will be technology to technology. You won't be able to transfer anything out of technology like you can now. You can literally transfer things out of technology now. I can convert money into any other form of fiat all over the world if I want to, right? I can go to some third world country, and if I want to, I can transfer my money into whatever their currency is and live like a king, right? We're literally going from our technology to their technology. You won't be able to do that in the new system. It's crazy. I can't even begin to explain this to you. And the things that we've seen, and I saw the beginning stages of it back in 1994. Dude, it is over the top. And the insurance companies, though, have had this technology for a while now. Just so you know, they've had it for years. Why do you think that, like with homeowners insurance, you can't just like shop around like you can with other insurances? All the companies are plugged into the same database, and they know where you've been and who you've had insurance with, and if that insurance company has dropped you and what for. Just like the medical community, it's the same thing. They know what's what. So
have you seen the new insurance things that are coming online with auto insurance now?
No, what's the latest stage?
you download an app and you drive with this app for 2 to 3 weeks, and then they rate your driving. So it's basically it's like a monitoring system.
See, there you go.
Forget the fact that I haven't gotten into an accident in like 20 some odd years. No, just take this app and stick it, and then we could track you and let you know if you get a lower rate.
Yeah.
That's just sickening.
Penelope, I saw what you said there about the social interaction thing. You know, that was an episode on the Black Mirror.
Yeah,
And that's my wife's favorite episode, where everything was based on your social media presence and how many followers and stuff you had, and that determined, you know, what kind of car you could rent. You know, if you could fly first class. I mean, all types of things. Your whole life was determined on it and based on it. And that's pretty much where we're going. Yeah, that's what this new technology is going to be. I gave off a few reports in this morning's pre-market post scan. Dude, the central banks across the world are scrambling right now to get this thing up and running. They want it designed, and they want it to be them. The central banks literally want to dictate it to the rest of the governments across the globe. They want to dictate it to the UN, not the other way around. The governments want to have it and control their own, but they don't have the wherewithal to do it. The central banks have the money and the means, so they're the ones that are trying to get together and have this in play right now. It's the central banks, folks, that's doing this. It's all tied to a bank. Everything you do in this world is tied to a bank. A bank is there somewhere in that line from point A to point B. There's a bank somewhere. You better believe it. There's a bank. That's why they say follow the money. Central banks want to be that end user. They want to be the end user, and they want to be the means from what you have, you know, what you're using. It's crazy what they're trying to do, but it's happening, folks. And I don't think there's anything we can do to stop it.
Closing segment, buddy. Why don't you give out your final closing thoughts as well as your social media, because we want to know what your social interactions are, and and also how people can follow you.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I got my eye on a few things. Right now, I do believe that the crypto space is going to continue to explode higher. I think we're in a exhaustive point where the market's going to back and fill for a little bit and move a little sideways to slightly lower possibly. But long term, I think that the cryptos have only begun to explode higher. Likewise, I'm seeing that gold and silver is activating here, but I'm a little concerned because we do have crash alerts for this week in the metals, and so far they have ceased trending higher at the moment. So that gives me cause for concern. Also been watching XIV. If it continues to show signs of weakness, then that will show a short-term topping pattern in the stock market, and we could see a massive retracement here in the as the fall gets kicked off, the fall season here, September, October. So that's another thing I'm looking at. But then on the flip side, I think this is the time, though, that the equity side of the crypto space is the place to be. They took BITCF off the radar. Most brokerages will not allow U.S. citizens to purchase it. But don't worry, there is another play for you. I like BTCS, not BTSC, but BTCS. BTCS looks to be the new BITCF. Let's hope and pray that the SEC don't come and shut this stock down. BTCS, that's Bravo, Tango, Charlie, Samuel. That is the new BITCF for now. And of course, the high flyer is GBTC. That one's still a $700 stock, and it's showing promise. And of course, NVIDIA. I still think NVIDIA is on track to get to 200. We'll see if we can do it by the end of the year. And AMD, though, is still struggling. I think long term it'll get up and going. It's just one to watch right now. But as far as putting money to work, the other ones that I just mentioned, or is what I'm looking at. And yes, for full disclosure, I do have long positions in some of the above mentioned equities, specifically BTCS. And with that being said, postwavetrading.com, that's where you can come and learn what these central banksters don't want you to know, learn how to beat them at their own game, learn how to profit and give nothing back to the greedy banksters. And of course, you can follow me on YouTube, AlgoCapitalist. I'm also on Steam, and I'm everywhere, man. I'm on Steam, I'm on Patreon, I'm on Seeking Alpha. I've never taken that down. All my old stuff is on Seeking Alpha. On Seeking Alpha, though, I think I'm known as PulseScan72. But you can find me.
With that being said, folks, he is Dex the AlgoCapitalist. Follow him, find him, and and get in charge of that. Get involved in that training academy. With that being said, we are the Monkey Mavens, the Simian Supermen of RogueMoney.net. We'll be back tomorrow on another exciting broadcast. That being said, we're over and out. Take it away, CJ.